Hello, everyone. Welcome back to In the Yard Podcast with your hosts, Collin and Braeden Cox, as recorded here on Wednesday night, September 17th. And the playoff race in both leagues is wild. A lot of teams that are on the verge, a lot of teams that have, clinched, a lot of teams in between. And Braeden and I are going to get right into it here on In the Yard and, talk about what we think is going to happen, what we think can happen. Um, and yeah, we're excited for these last week and a half, right? Brain season flew by. Last week and a
Chaos.
half of it feels like not too long ago that fifth inning collapse by our Yanks. Like doesn't seem like it
Yeah.
was a year ago, right?
Yeah, let's not hyper focus
I
on that
just
though.
I know, but I'm just saying how fast this year went. But
Crazy. Yeah,
um
man.
but yeah, sorry to bring that up, but just that's kind of the first thing that popped in my head. 'Cause I'm thinking playoffs and I'm thinking Yankees, I'm thinking World Series, but yeah, Bray, give me your little rundown thoughts on just the overall picture. And you know I know you said we could kind of both go through this here, but yeah, I know if you haven't taken a look at the standings, Bray, you could lead the way here.
Yeah. So in the NL, we got the Brewers pretty much have had like a commanding lead of that one spot for like a month or so now. I mean, they got really hot as the summer ended. Phillies have been hot as of late. I think they first took the first two in LA. And
Yes,
then
they
you've got
did.
the Dodgers at three, the Cubbies who just clinched the playoff spot today, which is awesome for that, for them. Padres five, and then the Mets kind of, I hate to say, hanging on for dear life, but they haven't been playing
Yeah,
great as of
I
late.
think
I mean, I get
I think
go ahead.
last episode, that was a couple weeks ago. um we were like, oh, the Mets are fine. They're going to be like, they'll figure it out. And next thing you know, they're only, I think yesterday they're up like 1.5 games, but now they're up two because the D-backs
Yeah,
lost today. But
yeah,
if they lose
tonight.
tonight,
Yep.
I think they'll there's gonna get interesting. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. And then kind of the teams that are outstanding there. I mean, at least Baseball Reference has the Mets at, a 66.7% chance to make the postseason. So, in their thousand simulations, the Mets make it two-thirds of the time, which is probably fair. I mean, you look at the Mets schedule, they've got uh Washington this weekend. So you should beat them if you're them. And then you've got three games at Wrigley next week, which could totally get interesting. And then you end the year in Miami, which is another team that you should probably beat. Although the Marlins are having a much better season than I think a lot of us expected. I mean, the Marlins are only 7 games behind the Mets,
Yeah, they
right?
they
I
have a
know
better record than the Braves.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the Mets are closer to the Marlins in the standings than they are the Phillies, right? To kind of put it into perspective for you.
That's crazy.
Um, yeah. So they're like definitely the odds on favorite to get it. But again, like you said, if they lose tonight, a game and a half can fizzle quick. Um, and I know you'll want to talk on this, but the snakes, man,
Yeah,
the snakes have kind of come out of nowhere. They're alive,
they have,
to
and
say the least.
they had to come the trade deadline, right? They trade away Eugenio Suarez, who was, they I think top three in home runs at the time, to the Mariners, who clinched. Did they clinch yesterday?
No, the Mariners are basically a lock, but
Okay,
they're
and haven't
still
like officially clinched. Okay,
they're at
um,
98%
but anyway,
chance.
like
So
it's just crazy how much the Diamondbacks have came back. And like I think we were talking about the sport before, Braden. They do this every year. So it's like where it's like mediocre, super slow start, and then once the second half comes around, they just like turn up, but it's like too little, too late.
yeah,
Um, I don't want to say it's too little, too late just yet for them because they're only 2 games back. Um, but the schedule here toward the end for them does not do them any favors, to say the least. I think, can you rattle off the last three series for them? I think it's
yeah. So
Giants. So
they
they lost to the Giants today. They took two or three, and then it's
then
Phillies,
they have an
Padres,
off day
Dodgers.
tomorrow. Yeah, off day tomorrow. Then they host the Phillies for three this weekend. Phillies are hot. Dodgers next week. Another team that can go and rattle off a bunch of wins in a row, and then
Yeah.
at San Diego the end of the year. So, you're looking at it and you're like, wow, like they're hot. Like they could be the team that kind of sneaks in, but then you look at their schedule and it's like, wow, like you really need to play well the
Right.
final, at this point, your final 9 games of the year. Like
Yeah.
if you want to make the playoffs, like you kind of have to go out
Yeah.
there looking at who the Mets are playing. You kind of have to go out there and probably win
Hmm.
7-9
Right.
to
Yeah.
have a chance.
It's pretty safe. I don't know. I don't want to say pretty safe, but like you would think it's between the Mets and the D backs right now, but the Reds are only 2.5 out. And the Giants are also 2.5 out. They have the same record as the Reds. So like it's just like, given the circumstances, like you want to lean D backs, but then you look at their schedule and it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't lean D backs. Like who do the Reds finish with? Like, is there any?
Yeah, so the Reds are, kind of in a similar boat where they have rather tough schedule down the stretch. They've got 4 against the Cubs this weekend, starting tomorrow, which you don't
Mhm.
love.
Right? It's
But
tough.
then three
Is
get
that
three
is
against
that in
Pittsburgh.
Wrigley?
No, it's home.
Okay.
So that they kind of have that going for them. Then they got 3 next week at home against Pittsburgh, but then they got 3 on the road to end it in Milwaukee.
Hmm.
So again, another tough schedule. If you're gonna look at any team that's like on the outside looking in as it stands right now as having like the best schedule down the stretch, it's the Giants. I mean, they've got 4 against the Dodgers this weekend, which is tough, right? But then they end the year with 6 straight home games, Rockies and Cardinals. Like, that that
Right.
that's probably like one of the better ways you can end this year. I mean, St. Louis is out, right? I get they still like mathematically could get in, but they're out.
Yeah.
Um, they're not really playing for anything besides, pride. And the Rockies are awful, right? So like, you know,
Yeah.
go into Los Angeles this weekend, right? Go into Dodger Stadium, and if you take 3 out of 4, like
Hmm.
the ball's in your court.
Right.
Like take care of business, and we could be having a conversation next week where they make the wild card if the Mets, have struggles. Again, the Mets
Yeah.
definitely are the odds-on favorite because
Right.
of these 4 teams that we mentioned. They definitely have the easiest schedule.
Yeah.
But the
I'm.
Mets, as of late, have not
Yeah.
played well at all.
I'm still
So,
leaving Mets just because their schedule is like, just to
yeah,
me seems like that much easier. Like
100%.
I'm not even looking at like like if the Mets go out and lock in and take care of business and play to their level, there should be no issues. But
Yeah,
it's baseball, so you can't really say like they go through a little slump here. But like right now, I'm still like I think it would be cool if like the D-backs or the Giants even like make it after no
oh,
one
I'm
really
rooting
expected them
for it.
to like a month ago, especially as
Yeah.
Yankees fans. Like we don't really want to see the Mets in there, especially with the Soto
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, I'm gonna have to lean Mets because I think they're the best team out of the three too. I just think they haven't been playing to their full potential.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
but like I said, just their schedule just gives them a huge advantage. I think like down the stretch here.
Yeah, man, and I mean, it's one of those things where like we've seen crazy stuff that we've seen crazy stuff happen that is like you can't even like begin to like predict it, right? Like look at last year. Like last year, the Mets and the Braves had to postpone games because of a hurricane. And then they
Mhm.
were playing on Monday after the season ended. They had to play a doubleheader, right? You remember how
Yep,
crazy that
I
first
remember
game
that.
was,
And then for the
right?
D
And then
backs, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like
and then
the winner of
uh
the first game like clinched, right?
the
And
winner of the
then
first game clinched and went to Milwaukee, I think. And then
yeah,
the
yeah,
loser
yeah.
went to San
No,
Diego,
okay,
something like
that's
that.
right. That's right.
Because
But
the
if
Braves ended up playing San Diego.
well, if the one of the teams got swept, then the D backs would have went in.
Yes, yeah,
So
but
that was
yeah,
crazy.
regardless of all the logic behind it, right? Like however the standings were at the time, right? The point is like you don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 days, right? Like if that can happen, basically anything is possible at this point, right?
Yeah,
Um, I think you'd 100% have to say that the Mets are the favorite and their
right.
schedule totally lines up well for them. But, you know, again, like you don't really know. Like, the Nationals aren't playing for anything, but if if suddenly we're walking, Sunday night and the Nationals go into Citi Field and take 2 out of 3, again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if they do and San Diego wins 3 out of 4 in LA, we're having a completely different conversation.
Right.
Like how closer it gets
Mm-hmm.
instantly. So it
Yeah.
will be exciting. Um, but you're
Yeah.
leaning, if you had to pick, you pick Mets.
Yeah. If I was a betting man,
Okay.
just because of their schedule. All right, Brandon, let me ask you this question real quick before I move to the AL side of things. If you
Yeah.
had to choose one team like that you want to see in there between Mets, Reds, Giants, and D backs, who would you want? Who do you want to see sneak in? Just as a fan.
Um, I mean, you guys know I've been high on the Reds, right? You guys know I've been high on the Reds. I've been on the Reds train for a couple of years now, right? So
I
like
feel like I feel like I've
my
been higher on the Reds.
no, I was you were the Cubs guy.
That was 2 years. That was 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
but like I'm still that guy. I'm
I'm not
not I'm
even
not
the I'm
any
not
different than
even I'm not the Cubs guy anymore.
you should
They
be. You
because
should
no,
be.
I'm not the Cubs guy anymore because it was a hot take and they had themselves in position to make the playoffs and they blew it in September. Like absolutely
This is
blew it.
true.
And then the D backs snuck in over them and ended up going to the World Series. Like it
Yeah.
could have been the Cubs, like my hot take.
Yeah. That's
But
fair.
yeah,
That's
go
fair,
ahead.
right? So, I mean, like you would
Yeah.
think I would want to say the Reds, right? Because I like that team. But you know who I'd actually want to see, man?
D
I'd
backs.
I'd love to see the San Francisco Giants make it.
Oh, Giants. Different.
Bro, imagine just like envision a wild card game. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, right? Verlander versus Kershaw.
I don't know. I
Hypothetically,
don't even know if Verlander would be
hypothetically,
pitching. I don't know if he'd start a game.
I don't know.
You think he
Like, who
would?
knows? I don't know. Like, of those teams, right? Like, of course, we can talk about the Mets. The Mets are probably the most equipped to beat them, right? But San Francisco knows them better than any of those other teams. I guess you could also say the Diamondbacks, right? But I don't know. Like, if you remember, I was pretty high on the Giants at the beginning of the year.
Well, Giants were really
Right?
good to start the year. Like
They
really
were
good.
really good. And then they
Mm-hmm.
kind of fell off this summer. And then, as of late, they've kind of, figured it out, but it might be too late. If I had to pick, I'd pick San Francisco because I feel like if you gave me
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Giants, Dodgers wild card, like I'm seated. Like
That's fair.
that alone gets me in the seat,
Yeah.
right? Mets, Dodgers also does, right? But for other reasons.
There you
So, what about you? What would you say? I know what you're going to say, but
go. To me, it's a coin flip between the D backs and the Reds.
okay.
Um, I think I don't know what it is about the D backs. I just think they're fun to watch. But considering two things, Braden, I think it was like right after the All-Star break, we both had like a super hot take, and mine was
Yeah.
the Reds would make the playoffs, so that would
Yeah.
land
That's
if that
fair.
happens. And also, everything going on in Cincy with Joe Burrow being down. I feel like
Ooh.
Cincy could use a little pick me up and have some
Ooh,
have
I
some
like
life in
that.
it. Not that I
I
don't
like that.
trust Jake Browning, okay, but
Let's make that
when
clear.
your franchise quarterback goes down for his third time in 6 seasons, it's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No. No,
shout out my
I
fellow Who
like
Dey
that.
fans out there.
Yeah.
So I would lean Reds right now. Reds.
And I like that, right? I totally like that. And I would also pick them. I think the reason why I would stray away from them is, and again, in the postseason, anything can happen. We literally had this conversation before we started. Like the 6th seed can go and win the World Series. Like that's not unfathomable, right? Right. But like the Reds in LA, like I would
Yeah,
watch, but I just wouldn't have any
yeah,
confidence in.
I agree. I completely see your point. I
And
agree.
honestly, the same thing with the Diamondbacks, right? I just don't trust their pitching. Like
Mm,
the Giants, I feel like are not as good as them, but could make it happen.
a little more
I
complete. Yeah,
don't
I see what you're
I
saying.
don't know. I don't know if the Reds could go in there and win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers in a must win,
Yeah,
right? And then
I
even
agree.
if they did, I wouldn't, I mean, at that point, people would be picking them to win the World Series if they did that,
Right.
right? But beyond that, I wouldn't trust them to to go far, right?
Yeah.
So the Giants are a team that I could see making
Yeah.
noise if they get in. But
If the Reds were taking care of business this weekend against the A's, we wouldn't even
yep,
talking. Like they'd
that
be
we'd be having a
yeah.
different
We'd be
conversation
like,
right now,
wow,
man.
they're doing it. But all
Yeah.
right. Let's move over to the AL side of things. Brady, you want to
Yep.
give us a rundown there? I think it's pretty much kind of as crazy as the NL side, right?
Yeah, and like
I mean,
honestly, not.
NL's a little more crazy, but AL is like interesting also. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. So in the AL, the it would run through Toronto right now, which would be interesting. They're kind of having a season of the ages. I think their last division crown was 2015, and they haven't locked it up yet. But you know, I think
Mm-hmm.
they probably need to win two, maybe three more games, and they're there. Detroit, who I picked to win the AL Central at the beginning of the year, would be the two seed. The only team from the Central that would get in as of right now. Three would be Seattle, who's red hot, winners of their last 10. The Yankees, who have played better, definitely as of late. Houston, five, and the pesky Red Sox would be six. So it would set up for a Astros Yankees series in the Bronx, which I think people would enjoy that just because of what it is. And then Boston would go to Seattle, which I think would also be interesting because there's, maybe besides Florida, like there's not many teams that could be farther apart.
Right. Um. Yeah. I don't mean I don't really have any crazy thoughts on this. I feel like the Guardians are kind of on the outside looking in.
Yep.
Kind of the Rangers too. I think the Rangers kind of really hurt themselves with their. I think they lost 2 or 3 to the. I think they lost the first two to the Houston. I think they're playing their third game right now. Is
Yeah,
that
I can
right?
look actually. I can confirm that. Yeah, it's 2-2 right now.
All right, so 2-2. So even if they do win, like I still don't love their odds. Um,
Just to jump in real quick, the
yeah, go
Padres are
ahead.
up 3 on the Mets late.
Interesting.
And the
It's
Athletics
interesting.
are up 1 on the Red Sox late.
That would be huge.
Would be
Um,
huge.
and then so the Guardians, like I said, are the outside looking in. What's their? You gave me their schedule breakdown before, but can you give it to me one more time?
Yeah, so they're playing Detroit right now in Detroit, excuse
Right.
me. They won last night. They're up 2-0 right now, so they're trending well. Then they got 4 in Minnesota, which obviously bears well for them. Then they've got 6 games to end the year at home, 3 against Detroit, 3 against the Rangers.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's
that
tough.
Rangers Guardians series might mean something, but
Right.
um,
Hopefully it does.
yeah, I mean it's kind of similar to what you said about the Reds. I had the hot take earlier that I thought Cleveland was going to make the
Yeah.
postseason, and they were
Yeah.
like on like an L8 at the time. Like we were like, yo, this team's done. But I looked at their schedule and I was like, yo, if they figure things out over the next month, like they're going to be in the
Hmm.
race. And lo and behold, they're the last team in or last team out, excuse me. Um, so I mean, anything can happen, but I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, Baseball Reference only has them at a 14% chance of getting in just because you know, they trust Houston and they trust Boston enough. I mean, they both have them at in the 80s to
Yeah.
make it in, right?
And
So
and the Guardians will have a great end of the season. They got to play Detroit twice in the Final Four series, which is obviously isn't ideal considering how good the Tigers are playing. Um, but yeah, Brady, do you have any like hot takes on you see a shift in the standings on who's going to be in for the AL
yeah, I mean,
or
by the way, Trent Grisham just hit his second home run of the
oh
game
my gosh, again? Was it 3-2
again.
now? Oh my,
No, it's
that's
six
insane, man.
six two.
Is Hal Steinbrenner have to give him a blank check at the end of the year?
You might have to, man.
That's his second homer.
That's
How many two home runs games? Hang on. How many two home
But
run
look
games
at
does he have this
someone
year?
to look it up.
Like,
Um,
let me. I'll find it real quick. Hang on. Trent
yeah, I
Grisham.
mean, I think the two teams that you really need to hyper focus on, right? While you look that up, um, you know, not to shy away from the Yankees at all, right? But they've got 2 series against Baltimore and the White Sox, kind of sandwiched in the middle of them, right? So like, I largely trust them to kind of take care of business against two teams in 10 days that have not or are nowhere near playoff contention at this point, right? So to kind of shy away from them. Um, Seattle and Boston, they're saying have a very high chance, but I'll tell you, man, like I don't love that Boston's down one against the A's right now, and I don't like Boston's schedule. I mean, they got three in Tampa. Tampa has proven that they can be a problem. Then they got three in Toronto, and then they got three at home against Detroit to end the year.
This
And
is
like
for this is Boston, right?
Boston,
Okay.
this is for Boston, right? And again, they probably get in, right? But Cleveland's got four in Minnesota, and they've already taken the first two against Detroit. Are they figuring it out at the right time? And Boston's kind of,
Yeah.
struggling a little bit,
Yeah.
especially at home. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that I would pick Cleveland right now, but they're up to nothing right now. And
Well,
another,
I'll
like,
ask again. I'll ask you again Monday, Sunday night
yeah,
after
yeah,
that
yeah,
series. You
yeah.
mean?
You
Okay.
will have to do that. And then I think this next one, I think it's a split between the two of them. I think you have to look at both Houston and Seattle. And I get that they're both kind of hot right now, right? But they've got a 3-game series against each other this weekend, right? Which is probably going to be the series of the weekend, if you will, at least in the AL. Because, as it stands right now, they have the same number of wins. I think Houston has one more loss, but essentially, like, we could be talking about whoever wins this series wins the division,
Right.
right? And if you don't win this, then you're probably the 5 or 6 seed, and then that's when you get in the
Yeah.
conversation. If Cleveland gets hot, maybe you get left out. And
When
Seattle, their last series against the Dodgers.
when
So
is
who
when is that?
knows?
When is the Seattle Houston series?
They play 3 games starting Friday in Houston.
Okay, weekend. That'll be fun to watch over the weekend then.
Yep. Seattle,
Um.
Houston, Sunday night baseball
Oh. Okay. So that'll be interesting. Is that
it,
sorry? Is that in Houston?
in Houston.
Bacon Park.
So, yep. So,
Okay.
so I don't.
Can I give you
It's
the?
it's kind of a. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Go ahead. Go ahead, real quick.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's probably those teams. It's probably Boston, Seattle, Houston, the Yankees. Like, what I mean, those are probably the teams that get in. I mean, at least Houston or Seattle will get in, right?
Right.
Um, but like Cleveland's, I kind of talked about it earlier. Like Cleveland is kind of a pest of a team too. Like they're
Right.
not a team you
Yeah.
want to play, and if they figure it out at the right time, and Boston has this 6-game road trip against the division and they struggle, like who knows? So
If you
we'll
had to
see. Go
pick,
ahead.
if you had to pick one team, like if you had to bet on it,
Yeah.
which team would the Guardians like hypothetically hop and knock out of the playoffs? Not knock out of the playoffs, but like take their spot as it stands right now.
Boston.
Boston.
Boston. But if we're still recording when that Boston game ends, I might change my opinion.
Right.
Um,
No, that's fair.
but I mean, I can't pick Seattle because they're on a W-10, right? It's
Yeah.
hard for me to pick
No.
Houston right now because they're going for the sweep of the Rangers and basically sinking them. Um, the Yankees have a very, lackluster schedule down the stretch. They got Orioles, White Sox, Orioles. Boston's kind of the team left out there, right? And I'm
Right.
not trying to knock them or any means. I'm not even saying this as like a biased Yankees fan. I'm just being straight, right?
Right.
Like of the 4 teams, like they got a 6-game road trip against the division and they're losing right now to the A's.
Mm,
And they've got
stuff.
Detroit at home the end of the year. So they
Yeah.
got a tougher schedule and they're not playing great. So I would say Boston probably has the biggest chances of missing out and Cleveland getting in.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All
Don't
right.
count out the Rangers out.
Yeah. I mean, you could substitute Rangers too. I know you've been pretty high on the Rangers, and you're
If
saying,
they get swept, they're done.
yeah. What's the score right now? Are they playing
It's 2-2.
2-2? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you said that.
Third inning though, so
All right. Quick Trent Grisham tidbit here, Braden. So
okay.
so Trent Grisham has 2 home runs tonight. Guess how many
Yep.
games this season he's hit 2 home runs, including tonight?
Is it double digits? It probably
No,
is.
no, no. It's higher than I thought though. Like I thought it'd be like lower.
I was gonna say like I had a feeling it was gonna be like 9-10, but it must be too high.
No, no. That'd be insane. That would be insane.
7?
It's 5, which I thought is still pretty. So
I think
tonight was
that
his
feels
fifth.
low.
Really? I thought it was pretty high. I'm like, oh, he's probably like 2 or 3 now. No, he's at 5.
Now that I kind of put it into perspective, you're
Like,
right. Because
yeah,
we were at one of them.
yeah, we were at one of them.
We were at one of them, and one of them's happening right now.
Yeah,
So that means that there's only three others. I
yeah,
guess. I guess that's fair.
that's fair. That's a good point. But like, I don't know. I was also
Every
think it's
time he hits a
crazy.
home run, I count on him hitting another one. That's what it's felt like
That's
this year.
that's true. That's a good point. Um, but he's had only two homer games previously. One in
It
2020. Only one in 2020 we had 3 home runs, which doesn't even count because that was COVID year. And then one in 2021 he had a 2 homer game. But then
wow.
he's had 5 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have those games up?
Um I have the dates of them. The one was from
Okay.
August 22nd, 2020. This is
No,
when he
no,
was
no.
on the
No,
Padres.
I was talking about this year. I'm just curious if he's doing
Oh,
those
okay.
at home or on the road. Because he did it in
Um,
Pittsburgh. He's doing it in Minnesota.
let me check. So the one from this year was when we were in Pittsburgh. That was his first one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then May 12th was the other one. One of the
Looking.
other ones.
That was in Seattle. Okay.
Okay.
So three road games. And then what's the next one?
And then the other one is August 20th, which was um
That's in Tampa.
in Tampa. Then and the
Like
other one is 8/24, August
August
24th.
20. That's probably home. Home against Boston. So
Okay.
4 to 5 on the road. Impressive stuff, Trent.
The
Round
Mariners
of
do not want
applause.
the Mariners do not want Trent Grisham and the Yankees coming to Seattle in the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sure the Yankees are 5-0 in those games. I didn't look. I should have looked at the scores, but
yeah,
maybe they're
couldn't tell
4-1
you.
or something.
Well, they won the Pittsburgh one, so that's 1-0. I don't know the other
Yeah.
three, 5-12
They beat
against the
Seattle.
Mariners. I
They beat
think,
Seattle.
yeah,
Yeah. I should have looked, but whatever.
it's fine. Um,
Anyway.
yeah, but you got anything else to add? I feel it was a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll talk, or I guess I'll ask you, right? And
We'll get more. We'll get more into like the Phillies, Dodgers, like the locks, and like when the playoffs
yeah,
come around, kind of thing.
for sure,
Because
right?
those
Is
they
there?
all clinched. Like there's not much to say right now,
Yeah, I mean,
or
I
basically
guess
clinched.
I guess I guess I'll ask you like, I mean, maybe it's a little bit too early to be asking you this, but of the teams that are locks, right? In both divisions, right? Like I'm talking Toronto, Detroit. Um, I guess you can you lock anybody else? Maybe not. Like I don't know. Um, but on the NL side, the Phillies, the Cubs, the Padres, the Brewers, and the Dodgers, like which of those teams are you looking at as like, they might be on upset alert early in the playoffs. Like even if they do have
Oh,
a first round bye, like
Brewers, Brewers.
the
Yeah,
Brewers?
I've said this before. They every year they're the 1 seed. It seems like or 1 or 2 seed, and they blow it. So I do think this year's team's a little different. I think they're more complete. Um, but yeah, to me it's the Brewers just because of their history. So
And that's fair, right? And right now they'd be set up to play either San Diego or Chicago. And I think
don't love that for them, honestly.
Chicago don't love that for them,
Yeah,
especially Chicago,
yeah,
right? Because I feel like that the Cubs have, they've played well against them this year.
yeah,
Um, right now you'd almost rather be on the other side of the bracket where it's Mets Dodgers because both teams have kind of struggled as of late. Um, but you
mm-hmm.
say Brewers, I probably have to agree with you just because of past
Yeah,
years, but you know, I don't I don't fully trust Detroit yet. They're good.
yeah,
They're really good, right? But again, like the Twins are really bad and the White Sox are really bad.
mm-hmm.
And it's like there's Kansas City who is like good, not great, and Cleveland who's probably also good, not great. So you're playing a lot of teams like within the division that I don't trust at all. So, you know, I'm not saying that they're going to get upset or anything like that, but that would be another team that I would, potentially look at depending on what the matchup is as being on
Yeah,
upset alert.
yeah.
So,
And
But I'll leave it
MLB
at that.
playoffs, yeah, MLB playoffs, anything could happen. I think that about wraps it up here on In the Yard. Thank you everyone for listening. Let us know who you think is going to sneak in to the playoffs, how it might shake up 2 weeks or a week and a half from now. And yeah, see you next time.
See you guys.